let's go back to '93 when you start. Now you you see a commercial for the House of Hardcore. Is this what happens? No,
it wasn't House. No, that's Dreamer's House of Hardcore.
Oh yeah, what was it called?
It was called. Yeah, it was just. I think it was like called the ECW Academy or something. Okay. So yeah, I worked as life insurance. I worked in Center City in Philadelphia.
Exciting as hell.
So boring.
How did you not get hooked on cocaine working in the world of insurance?
My data processing. Yeah. So I hated it. And I had just like sat down to eat one night in front of the TV, and it was like a Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and I turned on Sports Channel Philadelphia, and there was this ECW show, and I'm watching it, and I'm just like, this is so pathetic. There's like no one in the audience. I don't know any of these workers, but I kept watching because I was so intrigued. I was like, I need to learn. Like, because all I watched was WWF. I didn't watch anything else. So I said, I got to broaden my horizons. Let me try this show. I watched it for about a month or two, and there was that commercial. It was Bob and Lex Ortiz, and they were like, oh, if you want to be a manager or a wrestler or a valet or a referee, call this number. So I was like, I hate my job. I'm going to call that number. I didn't know anything.
That's crazy.
About the sport.
Did your parents tell you were crazy?
That my mom was just like, you're insane.
Good for her.
Yeah, don't do it. You're making a mistake. You have a good job. You have benefits, blah, blah, blah.
You're a mom now. What would you tell your daughter?
Oh, I don't even let them watch it. They don't even, they're not.
I'm saying in 20 years.
They're not allowed to tell people at school what I did because I volunteer. You don't understand. I don't need people Googling me. That's not happening. No.
You definitely don't, and we'll get there.
And hopefully no parents are watching this.
Are you, so now you're watching in Philly. You said you're from Philly.
Yes.
So you grew up in Philly.
I grew up
on the McMahon product.
Yes. Well, no, I didn't grow up on it. I didn't really come 18, 19 years old.
Oh, okay, really?
So I watched it for about a year.
So you weren't like a little kid going to the matches?
I didn't know. Okay. No, I never aspired to like be in the business.
You're not an Eagles fan, are you?
Of course I am.
Oh my God, it's over.
Champs. Champs.
Over.
Love it.
Did someone else sit in for me?
No. Can't.
I'm a Cowboy fan, so I don't know how we're going to
that's even worse.
We're going to get along today.
No, not at all.
Let me tell you something about Philly. When I first got into movies, I started acting in Philly. And my first film was Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. But I also got hired for a film called, oh, God, a long time ago. David Morse was in it. I played David Morse as a kid. Diary of a City Priest, and it's shot in Germantown. So they said Germantown. What do you think when you said Germantown? I'm going to see quaint little Tudor homes with little German people.
Depends on
Guess
no
what?
German people.
No Germans in Germantown. Oh my God, what I saw when I got to Germantown.
It depends on where you
It's a hole.
It depends. Well,
Germantown.
Isn't there holes everywhere then?
My God, Philly's rough. So what part of Philly did you grow up then? I'm guessing not Germantown.
No, I grew up in Overbrook.
It was like very popular in Germantown, the part I was in.
No, it was like the Little Italy section of.
So north, east?
No, West Philadelphia.
Oh, West Philadelphia.
Not the part that the Fresh Prince grew up in, though. It's a very wide.
Oh, okay.
We were in the Italian section of West Philly.
Middle class?
Yeah, middle class. My dad was a bus driver for SEPTA. My mom was retail until she had me, and then she stayed home.
Catholic school.
Catholic school from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe that's why I wasn't as bad. I was. Yeah. It's imprinted.
Because those are all the Catholic schoolgirls I knew.
Well.
So you call the number on a whim, like a nut.
I did.
And they say, just come down?
They said it was Lex who I talked to, and that's our ring announcer's wife. And now they came to my wedding. I love them. But she says, oh, first you have to meet Todd Gordon. And so I don't remember if he was on camera or not, so I might have not even knew who Todd was at that point. So I said, okay, well, where do I go? And she said, oh, you have to go to a pawn shop.
Exactly.
And I said, what? Now I'm 20 years old.
Right.
Okay. And she says, oh, it's in Center City. Now, I'm familiar with Center City a little. You have to go to Jewelers Row. Oh, okay. And so I'm scared to death. So I say to my dad.
But you know he's the owner of the company, right? They tell you who he is, right?
She just said, you have to see this man.
Tall, dark-haired, handsome.
Yeah.
And you open the door.
Well, I couldn't open the door because you have to get buzzed in because there's bars and it's thick glass and, so my dad drives me, so I didn't have to go alone, but I didn't want to look like a baby, so I told my dad to wait in the car, and I went in by myself, and I get buzzed through, and there's all those, there's the windows with the bars with the girls behind helping you with your jewelry, and you have to go to that back room. So I look down, it's a hallway, and then there's a door. So I go, okay. So I'm walking down, I open the door, and I see this guy just sitting there, like, with his feet on the desk, you know, and I'm just like, oh, hi, are you Todd? You know, I'm Todd, and I shake his hand, and he's just staring at me, and he says, oh, he goes, you're really pretty. You won't have to bump.
Do you even know what that means?
I don't know what a bump means, no. And I go, okay, well, now I realized I did have to bump. And
what did you think bump meant? Did you?
I wasn't even sure. I said to myself, I'm just going to be quiet and let him speak to me because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to expect. I never really met any, like, I met a couple WWE guys because I had won a contest.
That's right.
Yeah.
What was it that you were driven to?
It was the Video Jukebox Network. And I won this, you had to, it was for the Manhattan Center. So I got to go to Raw, and then at Madison Square Garden, they had a WrestleMania party. So me and my girlfriend went, and we got to meet. And it's funny, because this week, there's a hidden gem on the WWE Network, and it's Lex Luger, and it's me taking my picture with Lex Luger. So all on Twitter, is that you? And it's me, I'm like
That's
19,
crazy.
20 years old. Yeah, it was before I even got in the business. So, and that's the only time I ever met any of the boys. And I wasn't a rat. I didn't stay afterwards. I went home, and that was that. So I never hooked up with any.
Why, was that out there? Was that the?
No, that was never out there. But I'm just, because a couple on Twitter, oh, you're with the. I'm like, no, I wasn't with.
Francine won a contest and blew the locker room.
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't. I just went to this show, and I went to the party, and I came home.
So you meet Todd.
So I meet Todd.
Dashing, debonair Todd Gordon.
Yes. So right then, so a lot of the guys worked there.
Okay.
In the building for, like, Stevie worked there, JT, I think JT might have worked there, but they told me I was going to be trained by Larry.
At CW Reed, you talking about? In the
Yeah.
Brewers? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And they had said, all right, we're going to make, you're going to be trained by Larry Winters. So I said, oh, okay, great, but the timing, I couldn't work with Larry because he couldn't make it the time that I can make it. So they put me with JT Smith. So JT is the one that trained me.
Right.
And Stevie sometimes was down there for training. And then there were a couple guys that didn't really make it that I trained with, but I was the only girl.
Who was in your class that went on that we know?
Stevie and I.
Okay.
Stevie was down there a lot. And then, like I said, there were a couple other guys that we used on house shows, but they just didn't.
Okay.
They didn't make it.